Hello and welcome. My name is Tom.
And I'm Heather.
And you're sitting at the Couples Table.
The Couples Table is a live stream podcast here on this channel. Join us for better or worse.
For richer or poorer.
In sickness and in health.
Streaming now on Fiber.
Woo! That was good.
Yeah. I know.
Streaming now on Fiber.
Yeah, because we got upgraded. We put more fiber in our diet yesterday. So now
Can you
things
tell?
are moving.
Can you tell? So Tom and I got Fiber.
Finally.
Fiber internet.
Yeah.
Yes. And let me tell you, my room is the furthest from the router.
For some reason, this room just doesn't get service of anything.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's in like the dark zone.
Dead zone, totally.
Yeah. So, what we've been doing is we bought like a 500-foot Wi-Fi cable.
Probably more like 100 foot, I think.
And wired it all the way through the house. Just across the floor and everything, and it's good. It's fine,
okay.
But it's really annoying.
And that we would plug in. But here's the thing: is with our previous internet connection, which was we paid extra to get the fastest one we could get here, which was supposed to be 500 up, 500 down, so 500 megabits per second up or down. That was the fastest we could get where we're at. And even when plugged in, connected directly, the most we ever got up was 21, maybe. Usually it was like 10 to 15. Yeah. That is very low. That is like incredibly low. And downloaded would be like, maybe we could get like 120 down.
That's a good day.
On a good day. And honestly, being plugged in or not didn't almost didn't seem to make a difference, because it was like on Wi-Fi you would get, 10 to 15 up versus 15 to 20. So it was like... really no difference. So we finally, like a year ago, they like made fiber available where we're at. Got fiber yesterday, which was a way easier process than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be really, I don't know, cumbersome, but it wasn't at all.
Yeah, and just running a speed test before this on wired, if we were wired, I don't need to look it up because I remember it's 2.36 down and up gigabytes.
Yeah.
When I said it's 10 to 15, I meant megabyte, like as in you could count the megabytes on your fingers, and that's all of them. This is 2,300 up or down, and over Wi-Fi it's a little different, especially here it's further away, but it's still like, what is it, 148 down, 184 up, which is again
the most.
We've never seen more than 21. I think up is the max, and up is what you need when you're streaming, because you're uploading content. Downloading is like, everything you're consuming. Uploading is everything you're sharing, streaming. Uploading YouTube videos, it takes us sometimes hours to upload a single YouTube video, all that kind of stuff. And streaming too, not that I like really have the desire to stream in 4K, but it's literally never been an option before. And now it's on the table.
And now it's on the table.
It's potentially an option.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, wait, hold on. Live. I'm trying to see if I can play this live. Look, we can do this live. We can stream live. That's
Could you not do that in here before?
No. Oh. No, I would close this because I didn't want to.
I didn't realize.
I didn't even want to mess.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, so we're living that fiber life. And you can tell us if it's good. Well,
it's a difference for us because we can use our internet now.
Anyway, let's check in. Sean Grogan is here. Hi. Rio Pel Room is here. Hello, hello. And KWA Comedy. Hi, all. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So, what's been up in our world, Tom?
Well, we went to New York.
We had a very fun weekend.
47-hour trip. So very quick.
Yes. Yep.
And it started on the reason we didn't have a couples table last Friday. Well, we left last Saturday, but then we ended up having guests and we had to get ready on Friday. And then also, technologically, the world ended on Friday. Week.
What a crazy thing.
So,
that was because I don't follow like the news anymore, since like we don't watch the news, and then Twitter was kind of like my source of the news, but then like I haven't been checking that, so I had no idea that there was this huge technological shutdown, which like had global impact.
Yeah, well, I just woke up to an email from American Airlines that was like, hey, if your plans are flexible, you could change your flight. Now I just was thinking like, what a weird email. Like we booked these tickets on purpose for these times. Why would I change it at the last minute? And then started seeing news stuff where it was like, oh, that's why. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so it looked like every airport just shut off for a second there. And then, yeah, everyone scrambled to get everything back on. But it was crazy.
But we made it. We ended up with only like a 1 hour delay on the way there.
Luckily,
Not bad at all.
It wasn't bad.
And then on Sunday, I got to be on a panel for Creator Roundtable Podcasting 101 live at the B&H Photo Superstore.
Yes.
In Midtown New York City, which is awesome. They had like such a cool setup. It was sort of in like this corner. It's like Good Morning America, where you have like the windows and everyone walking by.
There were people watching and stuff.
That was very cool. And so it was me, Luria Petrucci from Live Streaming Pros, and Bandrew Scott from Podcastage. Unfortunately, Bandrew couldn't make it in person because his flight did get canceled. Yeah. He was supposed to be there, but he was virtual. And it actually worked out really well, as bummed as I was not to see him, because he was in his home setup like this. And so everything we were talking about when it came to podcasting and stuff, he was like able to show us examples. Like, so we were talking about budget equipment, so he hooked up a $20 microphone. We were talking about like, you know, different cameras and built-in webcams and things, and he was able to like switch to his, you know, webcam. Like he was able to real world example stuff that we were talking about in real time, and it ended up, I think, almost being more effective, as much of a bummer as it was. And yeah, and the whole panel was great. B&H was great. We got a tour, a secret special tour, VIP tour of the B&H warehouse.
Yes, one of them.
Which, yeah, the main store warehouse, which is under the store.
In the basement, yeah.
Yeah, basically runs under the whole, like, B&H, the store is like a city block, basically, and this is all under that. And it's cool. You see where they load up they have little trolleys that run all around the top and everything.
It was the coolest thing.
Yeah, we just got all the ins and outs of like how everything works, where everything's stocked. It was very cool because you could see how stuff was stocked in like order of popularity. So the more popular items are
closer to
like the send out things. And
yeah,
it's neat because you go down any aisle and be like, I know that.
It was so cool.
Yeah, and so that was neat. And then the souvenir, because everyone was asking, like, did you buy anything at B&H? And this time, no, especially because we packed so light, there really wasn't room to buy anything. But here is my souvenir, is a roll. Oops, sorry, I got so excited. It's a roll of B&H packing tape. So if you've ever got a B&H box and you cut through this tape to open it, every time when I was teaching and I would order equipment, and I would always specialize on my purchase orders, please order only from B&H, because sometimes they would try to like, oh, well, this like
shop around
really cheap third-party thing is the same, right? And they would get something from some other thing that was not the same. There's a reason I ordered what I ordered. And so I'd always say, only order from B&H. And every time like a shipment would come in and there'd be like a bunch of boxes in my classroom, I would immediately look at the tape to be like, is it the B&H tape? It is. Okay, that means I got the right stuff.
And we got a whole roll.
But it's not adhesive on its own. You have to like wet it. So
they have a little like
almost like a stamp licker kind of thing.
Yeah, they had a whole machine.
But
we got to see people like filling orders and stuff. It was so cool. It was like awesome. I wish we could have like recorded. Understandably, we weren't allowed to, but
yeah, no cameras on that.
Yeah, like we asked every question, and everyone was super nice. It was such a fun day.
Cool thing too with B&H is like the more you talk to people who work there, you find people are there for like 5, 10, 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like the person who runs the warehouse has run it since the physical store in that location opened.
Yeah.
In 1997, I believe.
Really quick, Sean Grogan is asking, when is Oliver Bentley coming back, and is Tom interested in playing Final Fantasy 14?
Both very good questions.
I would say Oliver Bentley could potentially make a comeback.
Now's a good time.
What?
Well, I mean, because there's a new
yeah.
update.
Today it's the worst time because we have a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, we're busy.
But we'll see how winter.
It's not for lack of wanting to.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that's the problem is I want to, but when I cross that bridge, it's like that's the only thing I'm going to be doing. And so I'm kind of, I know I see the door, I can open the door, but I'm going to wait until I have like a good amount of time to dedicate. I would say like winter.
It's a nice cozy winter thing.
Yeah. And then by then there'll be some patches out probably.
Sure.
At least one patch. Are you interested in playing Final Fantasy 4? I don't know what. I seriously do not know what I would do if you ever played Final Fantasy 4. I think you would love it.
Yeah, I'm not again. So since you played it in the first time, I have played multiple RPGs.
Yes,
now,
you have.
which is a thing I had never done before. So I sort of have a different understanding. I'm reading an RPG book, like a literary RPG right now. So I went into it. Or book series.
He gets it now. Yeah.
So I totally get it. I've not done like an MMO where
it's fun.
I know. I haven't done
It's definitely
that.
like it could be anxiety inducing, but
Yes.
but you know, here's how I would do it if you were ever to play is like live stream on my gaming channel and have all those fun people.
Right.
Like that's who we would play with.
Right. Yeah.
No crazy.
I mean,
like, random
the
people.
first RPG I played was Chrono Trigger on the Analog Pocket because that's your favorite.
That's really the first RPG.
Yes. Because that was when I started. I don't know, at the end of last year.
Well, that was me. That was me. You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah. And then I really liked that, so then I dove into Earthbound, and then I did Mother 3 because there was no Earthbound. I did the sequel to that, the third one in the series, regardless of the names, and then we jumped into all the Yakuza stuff.
Yes.
And that kind of leads us to now, which is just a lot of games in a relatively short amount of time. When
The
other
thing
things
I'm
to do,
curious
too.
about, sorry, we are deviating, but I'm curious, like for all my gamer friends out there, what class you would be.
I don't know.
Yeah. Because it's definitely a personality thing. There has to be a quiz on this, many probably.
What class are you?
Yeah, like are you a warrior at the front of the party leading the charge with damage? Are you a caster in the back
I
with
don't know.
long spells, long range spells, or maybe you've got your bow and arrow,
I don't know.
higher agility, lower defense? Are you the healer? No, Tom,
I don't want to be the healer.
Tom doesn't
That's
want
too
to.
stressful because
Yeah.
you're just trying to like constantly heal
keep everyone
everybody.
alive.
No.
Yeah, you look at the opposite bars. So you know how
Yeah.
like we look at the enemy bars for their health bars. You look at
Yeah.
your like
No.
I was gonna say coworkers bars. Your teammates bars.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I don't know what I would be.
Yeah. Anyway. Hey Bailey, what's up? Call me Cubby in the house. Hi, Mr. Camera Junkie. Hi everyone. And Tech Troublemaker. Hey everyone. Happy Friday. Tech Troublemaker. I tried to tune in. Well, I was at B&H when the B&H thing was happening, but I definitely saw you in the comments under the live stream. So thanks for being super active. The B&H roundtable was incredible. Absolutely loved it. Look at that. We had Bailey tuning in from the other side of the world.
it was really, really awesome. And I also need to give credit to Andrew Swift, who was the moderator, because he was awesome.
Oh, he was great.
He did a good job of not only structuring it, planning it, taking in Q&As, incorporating all of us.
I made sure
it
to
could
give
easily
him...
be a train wreck.
Yeah.
And B&H did they replayed the live stream, but they re-uploaded it because there were some audio issues at the beginning. And so they uploaded a new version with like some fixed audio, which some people were like really upset, like, oh, this is, this doesn't say well for like the professional company to have audio issues. And it's like, tell me you've never live streamed without telling me you've never live streamed is kind of how I felt about that.
Every person who was like, so many of the people there were creators,
Yeah.
professional
Live
creators.
streams,
And
it's
like,
a thing that happened.
yeah,
This was
exactly.
their first time
And they had,
doing
like, a
this sort of
Zoom
event
guest.
in there. They had a last minute Zoom guest that was
Yeah.
that was not a thing we did. There was audio for the in studio audience, audio for the
can't
panelists,
even-
audio for the stream.
I can't
audio
even
for
wrap my
remote
head
audio.
around how.
And so if the levels were a little off at the beginning, especially because in person they were perfect, like it was completely fine. So it wasn't a
well,
thing.
it
that
sounded,
was
in
evident.
my opinion, sounded way better on the stream.
It did. Well, I mean, at least from where I was sitting, I could everything was fine.
I wasn't sitting like with the audience.
The only thing that was hard was they had really like intense noise gates on the microphone. So if you kind of lean back just a little bit, it really like shut you down. And so I would get close
Yeah.
and suddenly like it would be a little loud. It was fun though. That was like so much fun.
MCJ says, I've started my podcast. Reminder,
Yay,
Tom,
congrats.
you need to schedule your time.
I know I need to schedule.
Oh, with his podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like,
It's just
what do you mean?
we're a little busy, but yes, I know I need to.
Oh, no coffee in the house. I have to catch a live. No, did I just talk? Did I say that? Nice to catch the live. I can talk.
That's what he said.
No, I was like, nah, da, da, da.
Blah blah blah.
So here's one thing that happened. I got this thing called, oh my God, I don't even know what it's called.
Disembarkation syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm super sensitive to motion sickness, and I've had, I don't know if it's vertigo. I think it's vertigo. But the people I know who had vertigo like also throw up, which I don't have. But basically, I've been super dizzy ever since we got back, and it's like almost a week, and I'm still feeling like I feel like the sensation of being on a cruise ship, and I know this is very common. Like I felt this after I've gone on a cruise. You get, you're back on land, but it still kind of feels like that. But like, I still feel that after our flights.
Well, we learned you might have to get your ear crystals adjusted.
I don't know. So, if I'm a little loopy, that's why. Streaming live and also to a live audience is challenging. Yeah, I can't even like wrap my head around how to even do that. And then plus you're like monitoring a live stream chat and everything.
They were running all this stuff through a roadcaster, which is kind of cool.
I watched the original with a bad audio, no complaints. Yeah, lot of people.
And the bad audio was really just like a little funky for the first like 10 minutes of a 2-hour thing. So it's not.
Bailey said, like the audio is slightly off, still tolerable. They fixed it quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I told everyone at B&H this. I thought that the choices of the panelists were great because I thought that the three of you guys, were clearly professionals, clearly have done, many shows, several years of episodes, but also so different.
Yeah, I was kind of
like very different approaches, very different. Like you can tell that you've failed over and over, and you've like learned from the mistakes, and like you. It's not like you took a course and you shortcutted your way. It's like no. You literally adapted as the technology grew.
I was really pleased to discover how we could fill in each other's experience, preferences, insights, because it can be that thing when you have a panel, like someone asks a question and then it's each person just gives their answer, and especially sometimes if the answers are very similar, it can feel very repetitive. And it was nice that I felt like the three of us were able to build on each other or fill in gaps or like add to without being repetitive, unless someone hit a really good point. Then it was like, let's really emphasize this point right here. And I thought I was really, I don't know if I don't know why they chose who they chose, but they did a good job because it was really a nice combo trio.
Yeah, like I was there obviously like to support Tom, but I've attended so many talks and workshops and seminars and webinars and stuff on content creation. That was definitely one of the best like panel ones because it's like you said, it could just kind of feels like everyone's just kind of like talking shop, but this was like, no, people were writing stuff down.
Yeah, that made me nervous because you would talk and you would see people like take out their notes and do a thing.
And it's hard because it's like, everyone in the audience, like we knew people in the audience who've been content creators for years, and there's people who are like, I came up with this idea 2 weeks ago. Now I'm here and ready to invest in the gear and all that. But I felt like you guys did a good job of like, it doesn't really matter what level you're at, but based on where podcasting is now, here's some like relevant advice.
Yeah.
So you did an awesome job.
Thank you. And thanks for going along and helping and documenting the whole thing. And even that was an amazing experience. And then coming back,
also, yeah.
Things are great right now, but I've also had a bit of a frustrating week.
Yes.
I've had a bit of a frustrating week, and I just want to give you credit for being very helpful. I can see you going so far above and beyond out of your way to try to like help. If I say something is frustrating or whatever, you really try to remedy it. I want you to know I notice it and I appreciate it, and it makes a difference.
That's so freaking sweet. Let me tell you, my head's been spinning since we got back. Like even now, I'm like, huh? And so I don't feel like I've been helpful at all.
Oh, you have been. So good. It just comes naturally to you.
Oh man, let me tell you, so when I'm not feeling good, these fingers get real scrolly on the Instagrams, and I have bought so much crap. I can't even tell you. So I'll tell you what I bought, but let's catch up with the comments. That's why I don't think I've been helpful.
We'll get on
because
topic to our title today.
Well, to kick off this stream, go watch the B&H replay. Like it was really good. I thought like if anyone wants to start a podcast in 2024, just watch this. Like it was really, really good.
Well, that was the thing too, is like a lot of people were like, is it too late? And then there's a big discussion of audio versus video, and do you have to do video and all that. So those are things I'd like to touch on.
Kev is here. Hello, today. Hello. Kathy says, I watched and even succumbed to the discounted podcast equipment in their follow-up email. Bailey says, admittedly, I was surprised they didn't use wireless GOs and lavs, which is what I put in my comment, which would just make it look a bit cleaner.
I think they went wired for reliability, because especially in New York, in B&H with all this stuff, I think those 2.4 systems could have...
There's too much stuff, yeah.
Could have caused some issues. I don't know, though. It would have been a good... like stress test for those systems.
Ono Coffee says, agreed, Heather. Watch and respect Luria, Bandrew, and of course Tom. I've actually been watching a lot of Bandrew's videos since I watched the replay and really enjoy them.
He's great. He's just great.
Mr. Kramer Junkie says, I like that everyone got right to the questions and comments and didn't take half the time with intros. Yeah.
Yeah.
The intros were great. Like,
it was very good.
Just
at,
go.
Like,
yeah.
Organizing it.
I like that the sponsor integration with Rode wasn't even forced and wasn't all that focused on road equipment.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they planned it before and then Rode's. I'm not sure, but I'll be right back.
Bye. Okay, so anyway, let me tell you what I'm going to grab. Oh. So here's the other souvenir we got. Shout out to Morty.
We're supposed to have this, or we're supposed to tell anyone we have it.
Are you kidding? B&H employee. Okay, first of all, a B&H employee gave this to us. We did not just take it from the freaking store. I know no one would think that we did, but
I have the backdrop.
This is the actual backdrop. But Morty, who is our B&H contact,
Are we supposed to say
/ friend, thought it would be really cool if we had it. So thank you. I really just, I don't know, Morty, if you ever watch, but you were so gracious and awesome and just...
B&H should be very proud, because you kind of
seriously.
exemplify everything that I think they go for.
You are awesome, so thank you.
So I think we're going to potentially, I don't know, I don't want to like ruin it, but potentially find a way to make that like curtains in our guest room.
I told him, I was like, we should totally just turn these into curtains. But then I was like, if you make it curtains, you'd have to cut the creator roundtable part in half, which sucks.
I think there might be a way to do like a one-sided curtain where it's like,
okay.
I don't know, but I wouldn't do this because I wouldn't want to, but I thought it would be just funny in one of those things where it's like, this video is not sponsored, but just have that in the back. Like next time I'm reviewing a road thing.
That's funny. Rick on Mike says, it's great to see you live again. For a while there, I had PTSD from when you two stopped streaming for a while. Well, we're here. And we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I just want to share a couple of things that I have bought on Instagram, and then this weekend, I'm not going to go on Instagram because I keep buying things.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But the first thing I'm really excited about is this stuff from a company called the Ramen Bay. We haven't made anything yet, but I hope everyone here has had the pleasure of making like top ramen, right? Just the like instant ramen noodles. They either come in like cup of noodle, like comes in a cup and you add hot water, or there's like the pack that you cook on the stove and you put in the soup based, seasoning. And then sometimes there's like dried dehydrated vegetables
in its 4 scallions.
Yeah, like a few carrots and like spinach or something. I don't know, tofu or something like that. Well, this guy made like a whole pack. You could just buy a whole pack so that when you make ramen, you could just
It's a lot of veggies. It's not just that. It's like happy looking freeze dried veggies that you can scoop in there.
This is not sponsored, but the ramen.
It's a big bag too.
Yeah, look at this. Isn't this cool? So here's what's in it. Well, I got the vegan one.
I was gonna say,
no,
I not have
I got you. Don't you? Veggie mix. Here's the one we got.
Yeah, that's one. That looks
so. Familiar. We got bok choy, roasted garlic, cabbage, tofu, carrot, shiitake mushroom. Oh, bean curd is different from tofu. Broccoli, corn, green onion, and white mushroom. And it's a whole friggin' bag. Look at this. And then you just like drop this into your ramen. Come on.
And it rehydrates space ramen.
Like, how could I not get that?
No, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And there's also other stuff, but anyway, I had to bring that up when you were saying that I'm being so supportive. All I've been doing is just like, babe, can I buy some ramen toppings?
Well,
you're like, okay.
You bought your slip-on shoes.
I bought my slip-on shoes. I got freaking mushroom coffee. Oh my god, it's been a thing. Kizik. I feel like the next thing to buy would be the sit stand desk, and then sign up for a Squarespace subscription because I feel like I'm going through like the typical things. So. This morning I woke up and I was like, Tom, I'm feeling away because I'm at the point where like my feet hurt all the time. And like I love Chucks and I have just worn Chucks like most of my adult life, but I don't know if I could do that anymore. And he was like, are you going to buy like New Balance or something like that? Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Originals. All good things.
So there is a company called Kizik, and they make a shoe that you could just step into without having to use your hands.
So like slip-ons, but they don't really look like slip-ons. Like slip-on.
You just like step into them and like they just like, I don't know, they just like pop onto your foot. So you don't have to like touch your shoe at all. I'm trying to find like a video. Yeah. So here. Well, bam. Pop. Boom. And they're super comfy and people have been walking in them like, you know, on trips, like all these things. And I was like, you know what? I need a new everyday shoe that is comfort over style. I still have to sport my like super stylish like Chuck heels, Converse heels and stuff. But I need my new everyday shoe. And so I fell for the Kizik ad. And if you're on Instagram, you've probably seen this ad. But I will let you know how they are.
And then I ordered, this ties it back to the trip, and we can go back. I went on an obsession, and a rabbit hole I've been going down this week is I have had it with our luggage situation.
Well, that was because at the airport, oh my God, he dropped the suitcase like 5 times. And
yeah, I've had this duffel, which I really like because it's really easy to organize, but it's like it's too heavy to carry through an airport, and then it like doesn't sit on the suitcase. And the suitcase that we have is just like a little carry-on thing. It's just like from Target in 2011.
Like both of us bought suitcase,
cheap luggage.
Yeah, you go exactly. Yeah. You know, you go to like Ross or TJ Maxx and just like, what is here? I'm going on a trip in 2 weeks. Grab this. Okay, go. Like I didn't compare aside from this color or that color or whatever. But now, now there's like so many like very specific options. What is the thing, Tom?
It was literally like an infomercial where I'm the black and white before thing of like carrying this, dripping sweat, falling, stuff is tipping over. And then I would see people just like barely putting their hand on the handle of their like 4-wheel suitcase that they could just maneuver through everything, sipping a coffee, whatever. And I was like, I'm over here like a
charging
freaking pack
phone
hound.
And
like,
everything.
I can't.
Like, I wish the company had recorded you because it was like literal perfect testimonial of like, I could hear the voiceover. Like, are you tired of using these?
If you saw footage of it in a before thing, you'd be like, God, they're exaggerating so much.
It was
I was like running over people's feet with it. It hurts my shoulder. Like,
yeah,
everything.
At one point, I thought he was just gonna leave the luggage. He was so tired.
The one thing that didn't let me down, though, is my camera backpack.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to do a follow-up long-term review on my Tenba one. That thing kicks all the butts and is so great and is the perfect size.
So apparently we have new luggage coming.
So I've spent also this week, basically every night as I'm going to bed, you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, luggage. And I'm just comparing all the things. And because it started, actually, we can even bring it back further. It started with Kat, who may be in the chat at some point. When she came and visited us last year, she had a bag called the Carry-On Closet, which was like this very cool suitcase, and it had this thing that sort of like opened up from it, and it was like an organizer, so you almost have like shelves in your suitcase, and you don't have to just scrunch everything together.
Look at these calm, happy people.
Yeah, I saw them in the airport. It's not even an exaggeration. And then I was over there just stumbling and falling and cursing. And so it was like, oh, I'll get the carry-on closet, but then it's like, well, that's a little expensive. What if I'm going to spend that much money? What other options are there? So we ended up finding these, and I got the we each got a carry-on essential from July, which is actually not the carry-on closet. But we're both very picky, and sometimes we take, like, sometimes I need a tripod or whatever, so I don't know if, like, the closet thing would have been practical for me.
Yeah.
But I wanted something hard shell, something not black, something with 4 wheels and a bit of organization built in, and that would still be carry-on. Because the thing we did very right was not check any bags. And I want to keep being able to do that. So this could be us. We could walk to each other like
and
this.
just be real happy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. I'm like so excited for that because we have a couple small trips coming up, and I cannot wait to like just not have to deal. Because I realized like the quality of life thing. And you should see some suitcases. Some suitcases have cup holders that flip out of the front, so you can put your
I
coffee
believe
there.
it. People travel so much, like for work.
Yeah,
and stuff.
every problem has been solved.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I doing? I mean, honestly, our little carry-on that I bought for like $40 in 2011 is great. Like, it has gotten the job done.
Every cent, you know.
The problem with that one is it's a 2-wheel one, and so you're also like
you kick your heels and stuff. Yeah,
and just your shoulders like pulling out because I'm piling my heavy freaking duffel on it, trying to drag it around. Anyway. Let's get things back on topic. We've got Sammy here, who we got to meet at B&H.
Yeah, so that was like another cool part about the B&H thing is we had lots of, so many thoughts. I will post this, but Tom had a line for his meet and greet, and I could not. I just was like, this is the cutest thing ever. I had so many people come up to me and say, "Oh, are you Tom's wife?
Are you the girl from the videos?"
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I did have people who knew Heather just great. That was really nice.
That's awesome.
I had people who have been on the YouTube Huddle Up. Like Ricky from Filmtopia showed up, which is so weird because we're both from SoCal.
From here. Yeah, we live not terribly far apart, have never met, and then he shows up in New York because he was there for a different thing by coincidence. Sammy Superstar was there.
Yes. So great meeting you in person. And it was just like, Mike Mena, who
who I didn't really get to talk to you, Mike.
Yeah, who's sometimes in the couples table. It was cool because it's like, it was a nice reminder of when you meet content creators in person, they are exactly the same. Like it really feels like, are we seriously meeting in person for the first time?
I've met a handful of people who aren't. A very small, maybe not even a handful, a finger full of people who aren't. I'm not going to go into that. Although you probably know. It's like shocking when someone isn't. It's so unusual that it's like nobody expects it. It's confusing. And I've literally seen groups of people be confused.
Oh my God, Morty, we just did a whole thing. If you rewind like 8 minutes. Okay, sorry, go. Confusing.
Pretty much everyone we've met who's an online creator, when you meet in person, is the same. It just feels like you're watching one of their videos. It feels like you know them already. And I think that's a really cool thing. And the few times that has not been the case.
I think that's the special thing.
It is the
being
special
a content creator, yeah.
And I know, it might depend on your niche or whatever, and maybe that's more prevalent in some niches than others, but I think by and large, it's hard to make enough videos to grow a channel, especially if you're an independent creator who's doing it, by yourself, essentially. It's hard to make the number of videos you need to grow the channel without being authentic, because if you're putting up a facade or a false front, that's going to start showing through. You can't hide it forever. Like, the mask will slip.
Yeah.
And
let's see. Bailey wishes that he could order gear from B&H, but between currency conversion and shipping, just isn't money efficient for me in terms of both time and money.
Yeah, I actually asked the warehouse person, like, you ship internationally? Because I didn't think they did, because I know a lot of people don't, but those reasons make sense that it ends up being a little more expensive.
That is the funniest thing. Bailey's first job was working at a shoe store.
Nice.
Tom would be great in an infomercial. It's crazy because I feel like when you, like, if you ever were to give a testimonial, it would sound like a joke to me. It would sound like you're setting up a joke, but you were so freaking frustrated that like.
It was frustrating the whole time, and then where it started being the most was we made it out of the airport here, but now it's 120 degrees, 115 degrees, and I'm now dropping everything on the hot asphalt, and like and I'm just like, we just need to get to our car, which is now 180 degrees inside, and everything's just like, I'm just like, I can't. And I see all the people with their perfect little like.
Let's see. Sammy says, "Didn't I just see you guys the other day? Had a nice conversation with Ricky. We talked about the huddle up for like 25 minutes. Oh, that makes me so happy. Hopefully you enjoyed the footage I did for you. For it was a great.
Oh
thing.
yeah,
I brought my
it's
camera.
awesome. I cannot wait to include that. I eventually will make a video, hopefully soon.
Yeah,
that kind
me
of
too.
recaps this.
I think the difference is creators versus creators who live stream.
It's definitely hard to be a live streamer without. It's hard to put up a false front as someone who streams a lot because there's no editing.
Yeah, there's no editing.
Believe it or
Gil,
not.
hey. Oh man. So you said really nice things about me.
Yeah, I did.
I just want to tell you the thing about you doing a workshop about podcasting is like, I think, obviously people know you for your YouTube channel where
as they should.
There's a lot of podcast stuff, but like you started podcasting before no one even knew what that word was.
I mean, I'm not that was a thing being on a panel with Luria and Bandrew. Luria started in 2003 and she's in the podcasting Hall of Fame. And Bandrew started in 2006 or something with his current show
Very
starting in
early. Yeah.
2014, I think. So they started creating podcasts. I mean, I had my little tape recorder as a kid and I was like making fake radio shows, like making a thing that's this is a podcast. And that's what I'm making. I started like daily listening to podcasts in 2008, 2009, and then making them in 2014. And in that time, I've done a lot of different things, like producing them for other people, helping students with them, and making my own. So it's sort of been a whole mix of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But it has been fun going from like people were a little more aware of what a podcast was in 2014, but there was not like podcast specific gear.
Yeah.
You were really hodgepodging things together, which is why when the original Rodecaster came out, I lost my mind about it.
Yeah.
Because it'd been a years long problem that was finally solved. The infomercial before, infomercial after.
Sorry about the sneeze.
It's okay. Someone must be talking about you or thinking about you.
Nope. Your face. Is that supposed to help me sneeze? Yeah. So anyway, I think one of the coolest things about you is that like I don't want to say that you can't hide your enthusiasm, but
Yeah.
your enthusiasm is so fun to just like watch. You know, like when you're like I think watching people talk about things that they're interested in is always going to be like, I feel like that's always going to spark someone's curiosity. Like
It doesn't even matter what it is.
Yeah. Like if people are super into their thing, at least for me, it's like I can, if you're super into it, I can watch you all day. But I think like the thing with you is that not only are you super enthusiastic about it, but you make it so that people feel like they can do it. And and like there's no like, you kind of cut away the gap of like, oh, that's for other people. Like, no, you can totally start a podcast because I was a normal person just like you figuring it out. And now I'm in New York doing a freaking workshop about podcasting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And like even the people who talked to me about, because when they were in line for the meet and greet to meet Tom, they were stuck with me. And a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you, like I have been watching Tom's videos for years. And like, people were telling me like at what point they started watching you, why they started watching you, how much of an impact your channel has made. Someone used the word starstruck, which is crazy.
It's very funny.
it's like, I don't know. It's cool that like I met you at the point where you were like, I don't know if I should bother.
Right.
I don't know if I should, is this worth it? Like, should I start a podcast? Should I start a YouTube channel? Should I put myself out there? Should I make an effort to make stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And to see you take a chance on yourself and get to this point is just such a cool, inspiring thing.
To make stuff for yourself. I mean, obviously it's for other people, but it's not under the guise of another organization or a company or a job. It's like to make my stuff. for the
Well,
first time.
you have to make it for you because no one is watching. Like
Yeah.
when you first start, it's just like you're doing it for the joy of like creating,
Yeah.
and like you just kept going and you kept tinkering and you kept figuring it out, and then now you help people all over the world, and it's just really cool.
Thank you. And that was the thing, so we can not totally forget the title of this episode, but that was the thing that a lot of people asked was like, is it too late? How do I start a podcast? All that kind of stuff. And that was a thing that I thought was kind of really important to remember, because people always talk about marketing, like how do I market? How do I do this? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like the worst person in the world when it comes to marketing your podcast.
Because it's so different.
It's like, so different. And obviously if you're using video and then you tap into the world of YouTube, like,
yeah,
we talked about that a bit on the panel, and Bandrew, like, I pointed out that like even an existing podcast that's audio only can now be added to YouTube through an RSS feed, which is awesome. And then it can show up on YouTube. And then he sort of like refined the point by pointing out that is true, but your audio only episode with just your album artwork like is probably not going to like blow up the trending page or anything. Yeah. But at least it can be found. It's something someone can search for, and it exists somewhere. But if you're taking then advantage of full-on video, like not unlike we're doing right now, doesn't have to be live, then you can flow into maybe search a little more easily search recommendations. Yeah, exactly. The algorithm can help you out, which is a boost that podcasting has not really had ever before, because all of the other directories and things, especially with AI, but all the other directories and things have always been you kind of need to search for the podcast. You can browse a little bit, but it's like you probably aren't going to find the one that you want, and it's a lot of word of mouth, and that just takes time. But the thing that I thought was really important and I think everyone on the panel emphasized was when you're making something, like you said, you're making it for yourself, you're doing it. You would be doing it anyway, even if nobody's listening, because at the beginning, nobody is listening, especially. Yeah. And you will slowly build your audience, especially if you're doing audio only. You're slowly going to find people who find the show or recommend it, because that's one of the biggest ways that audio podcasts grow. It's just recommendations, word of mouth. Yeah. And so even though it might be a small group, it's a way more dedicated group than the one that is going to skim through a trending page or whatever. Right. And so
they're in it.
Yeah. So you might be like, oh, we get 15 downloads an episode or something. But it's like, if that's 15 people who are spending each full hour with you every week or whatever.
Yeah. The connection is.
That's a huge bit of dedication. And it just kind
deeper.
You just sort of keep going and growing. And
if you think about how people consume podcasts, it's like you're probably in their heads, literally, if they're listening to you on AirPods. Yeah. Or you're like, doing something pretty, I don't know, personal with them. Like for me, I listen to podcasts when I'm putting on my makeup.
Yeah. I'm when I'm cleaning the house, vacuuming, all that kind of stuff, and then it sticks with you. Like,
exactly.
There are certain things where it's like I can like anytime I vacuum like a part of the house or mop part of the floor, like I think of a clip from an episode of like 2 years ago that I was listening to, like and that's a really unique medium.
Really quick, Sammy says, I think that live streaming made us feel that we have met each other before.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Bam. Hopefully there will be more events like this to see you guys again.
Well, I hope B&H does more of those. This was the first like installment of this series, this Creator Roundtable streaming series. So hopefully it went well enough that they'll want to do more. Yeah. And then for us, a big reason people were asking, like, you're in New York, what are you going to do? And it was like, literally nothing. We're doing this. And we walked around a little bit afterwards, and then we had to wake up at 3 a.m. and go home. Which is, like...
let's go to Times Square really quick. Yeah. Oh, we have to tell the Bryant Park story.
Oh, yeah. When you go that distance, it sort of feels like, well, let's take all our time and let's do all this stuff. But... something that can make that difficult is if you have a trip like that and the trip itself is 4 or 5 days, and then all the prep leading up to it and all the recovery after it, especially if you're a self-employed person where like you don't even know when your work days start or end, something like that could carve out half a month of your calendar and like derail things for a kind of a long time, which then means that those trips become something you don't want to do, you can't do, you put off. And so the thing we were really trying to do, we literally left at 12:30 on Saturday and we were back at 11:30 on Monday. Like it was very, very quick. Yeah.
I told Tom, I was like, we should really try to make this a work.
Yeah, went into it like, this is a work trip, which is why if people want to stay for however long after the thing, I don't have anywhere else to be. I'm here for this.
Yep. Yeah, you don't feel like, oh, I really wanted to
we
go to
gotta
that
go with
restaurant.
This show. Yeah, we got to go to that thing.
We have plans
that's not what it's for.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know you got your ear crystals kajiggered, so that way,
bro,
you've been knocked out,
let
unfortunately.
me tell you about ear crystals. But yeah.
But it hasn't felt like, I still made a video to, like, everything is still going. And it wasn't a disruptive thing, which meant that it's a more sustainable thing. And
hopefully you do more.
Hopefully that opens it up to being able to do it more frequently.
Sammy says, I want to see Heather speak at an event.
Oh, yeah. But when Bandrew wasn't able to go and we didn't know they were going to be able to remote him in, I was like, hey, got like a third right here.
No.
I don't think she would have been on board.
But I told Todd, like, seriously, well, Bandrew too. I was going to say you and Luria. I mean, I think you guys obviously made an impact because you were there in person. But, like, I think if I were in Bandrew's, like, I was remoting in, I wouldn't be as nervous. But, like, I get so nervous public speaking where I can overcome it eventually, but the anxiety leading up to it, the cotton mouth I have, like the just like it's like so much mentalness that I almost don't like care to, because it's just it's like. But let me tell you about Tom. He was just like, yeah, let's make some videos over here. All right, I'm going to sit right here. Cool. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Tom, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, literally, God,
for some reason, that's
this
the thing
is why
that I can
you do this, and I can't, because I would rather say hi to everybody. You know, I was like.
You know what? Because that is 11 years of teaching is what it is.
I was like, I literally made the decision, like, okay, yeah, if you want to be fireside chat with Tom, sure, I'll do it. But, like, I can't be on a
the reason it works,
I feel like I get nervous.
There are other times that's not me. Like, I'm Mr. No, I'm nervous most of the time and like anxious for a lot of things. But that's a situation where it's like, you're here for a reason. People are expecting to be here. The thing starts now. Go. And it's like, yes. Like anytime where I feel like I'm trying to like turn a spotlight on me or take attention or do something, that's when I freak out. But when it's like teaching, the bell rang, students are in the class, there's supposed to be a teacher at the front. That's you. Okay, cool.
If you came up to me in front of just a random place and you're like, boom, karaoke right now, dance floor right now, I'll be like, all right, let's go. Yeah, no nerves whatsoever. This though,
instant.
There's a schedule. There's a flyer. It's got your face on it. People are registered and stuff. Oh hell, yeah. There's like I can't.
See that's like okay, cool. There's something.
I can't.
There's a specific thing. There's like a task. There's a purpose. There's expectations.
We are very different.
Yeah, which is very different. Like that we can handle that differently.
Luca.
Hey.
Hello guys. Just started a new podcast to stay in trend with the title.
Well, I don't know if we're staying in trend with the title, but congrats.
Filmtopia, about to drive, but just want to say hi and say y'all are the best. I'm so proud and grateful to know you both, and I can't wait to see each other again. Yes, it was so good seeing you.
I was so surprised when I saw you walk in. I know him.
I mean, it was, you know how it is when worlds collide, and you just have to be like, what is this? It was so crazy. And then it was like one after the other, because like Sammy walked in, then you walked in, and like Mike walked in. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Yeah,
like I don't know who I was expecting to see.
Years
yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, we should meet up soon. Kyle, hi guys. I got the NTH 100 cable extender you suggested, Tom. My wife just sits so far away from the Rodecaster Duo when we were podcasting. She needed a longer cable.
Cool. Yeah, I was trying to give you all these cable recommendations. Kyle had a thing where like he needed longer cable for his Rode headphones. Or I guess his wife did. And I was trying to give all these recommendations for ones that will fit in the little locking thing. Then I was like, wait a minute. You can just get like a 3.5 millimeter extension cable. So use whatever headphone cable you have, you plug it in there, and now it's 10 feet longer or whatever. Yeah. Which I have like 5 of, and it didn't occur to me, like, recommend that.
Gil said the workshop was like a sneak peek at how Tom was in the classroom as a teacher.
I don't think I ever sat down teaching, though.
Yeah, no,
burn
never.
Holes in the rug, yeah.
Never.
That's why I started having foot problems after I stopped teaching, because I wasn't on my feet all day, and my feet started getting weird.
Yeah, they started
his feet
like
taught.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't think you've mentioned this here, but you did mention this at the B&H Creator Roundtable. But you like they were about to end the session, and you were like, "Hold up, let me like."
Yeah,
you know,
I felt bad, but I had to.
But I thought that was like such a good thing, because just to be real, there were a lot of newbies in the audience. Like, there were a lot of people who hadn't started their podcast yet. And I think, like, to end on you had no idea where it could take you, but look at where you're at.
Yeah. So the thing that I pointed out, which was we had talked about before, the first time I ever went to New York City was in 2009. So 15 years ago. It's right after I graduated from college. That was like my trip. And of course, part of that was make the pilgrimage to the B&H Superstore, which I'd always wanted to go to. And I had just gotten the iPhone 3GS like right before the trip. So I was like, I have a phone with a camera. I can because I could take pictures without having to always take out my big camera. And I remember standing across the street from B&H and taking a picture of the store because it was the first time I saw it. I was like, there it is, click. And then going in the store and stuff. Well, that corner that I took the picture of was the corner where this round table was. It's like the corner showroom kind of thing. And it was crazy because every time I could just kind of look over my shoulder and see the corner over there and just be like, 15 years ago, I was standing there like just hoping to go inside the store. And now, I mean, this is the second time B&H has like traveled us somewhere because they took us to NAB as well. And then they took us, they paid for our travel across the country to New York, and then to put on an event where they're like my face is on, emails going out and they're like promoting it, and it's this whole thing, and it's like it was just that moment of like I would have never thought I was standing 50 feet away. And now I'm right here. I've been in that room before because it's been all kinds of different things. Like at one point, it was like where all the telescopes were. It was like not a live streaming space. It's like never did I think I'd be here with like my wife and a whole bunch of people I met through the internet while this is my full-time job. Not just attending a thing, but like being a speaker at a thing.
You were requested to be there.
It was crazy. And the only reason that happened is because I just started making a podcast and making a YouTube channel. And I mean, I think that the time is the first, that was 15 years ago. The channel started making podcasts 10 years ago, the channel 7 years ago, my own podcast 5.5 years ago. Like it's not an overnight thing. Like you start a podcast, now you go to be on the panel in New York. But there's nothing special about there's nothing I did that someone else couldn't do.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the cool thing. And I thought one of the coolest points on the panel was from Luria, who I've obviously watched Luria's stuff and known her virtually for a long time, but I have like a whole different appreciation for her and her approach and her like professionalism for everything after getting to spend so much time in person. But one of the great points she made was discipline versus motivation.
Yeah. And
I really think that that's a key, because motivation, she was like, discipline doesn't need motivation. Discipline is, I do this at this time, and you just do it, and that's the end of it. Motivation is the like, do I feel like fleeting. Do I want to? It can be fleeting.
Yeah.
And they're very much related, because if you say, I'm going to make a video every week, or I'm going to do this podcast every week, for, sometimes you might have motivation, sometimes you might not. Do you have the discipline to just keep doing it? That can be a differentiating factor. Now, the danger part there is the motivation disappears, but you're too disciplined, and now you're doing a thing that you really shouldn't be doing, but you're just too So, it's like, if discipline has to take over every once in a while, I think that's okay. Right. And that was really cool, was like, oh, that is okay. If discipline is running the show all the time, then I think that's a sign.
Yeah, a sign of
something. And that was what we talked about on the panel too a lot, was like, people want to start their show. They are starting the show. Some people were starting. I know one person mentioned that she had grown like a really successful show and then basically just gave up on it and started over from scratch just now, but for something that she was more excited about and was a little more like relevant. And sometimes you do kind of have to you have to recognize that something has run its course and let it go, so that way you can then start on the next thing, which could be the actual thing.
Right.
Even though it doesn't,
could be the thing.
Yeah. You're making it but this was my idea. This was my podcast idea that I had. And then it disappears, and suddenly it's like, oh, here's the idea that I actually want to stick with.
Yeah.
Or that, connects with people or whatever.
Let's see. Greg.
Hey.
Super chat. A happy Friday coffee for the royal couple of YouTube. Wow. Cheers. That's so nice.
Royal.
Cheers. We are, I've got my Coke.
Got my water.
Bam. Well, it was just so much fun.
Yeah. To answer the question, no, it is not too late to start a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sure you knew that answer right there. It's different. It's different starting a podcast now than it was many years ago. And, I honestly think like the discussion of video versus audio is probably a topic that can be its own thing.
Oh,
because it's
definitely.
A very in-depth one.
Yeah.
But there's room for both. And I guess to sum that up, there's room for both. No, you don't have to do one or the other. Because I did have several people in the meet and greet, because I kind of mentioned a little bit at the end, like you don't have to do video, even though like I know it makes sense and there's a lot of reasons to, but for some people that's the thing that's a bridge
stopping
too far.
them.
Like
yeah.
I can't.
That's
even if it's not like being on video that's stopping them, it's just the workflow and the time and the equipment. And
it
all
is
that.
a completely different level.
Yeah. And I had people say like, that they appreciated that I did say it is okay to do audio only. They're asking questions about that. And a lot of people it was like they needed permission to do audio only. And it was like, my favorite podcast I listen to, Talking Simpsons, is audio only.
Oh,
like,
I think
huge
most of the
podcasts
podcasts that I listen to are audio only. I mean, they're on YouTube because now YouTube has the audio podcast, but there's no like video. It's just the album cover. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just think that was a cool thing. It's one of those things. The same thing when I was starting my channel. I was talking to you about it. I had made a couple videos, but I like needed your permission to like lean into more of a vloggy style, which is what I wanted to do at the time, or even just be more of like a personality-ish thing. I needed your permission.
Tom forward, yeah. Be in the front of the camera.
And I get that, and that people needed permission to like, it is okay to do audio only. It doesn't mean that you're committing to that forever. You can add video. Yeah. My own podcast, I've had video, no video, like it's gone back and forth.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is, and that's okay.
Yeah. Is there any quality loss recording a podcast from the Rodecaster to your computer versus micro SD card internally?
There shouldn't be. It would depend on the project file settings that you have in your computer. Like, I don't know if you're using Logic or Audition or GarageBand or whatever, and you create the file that you're recording into. If you set that to be like a really low bit rate or something, then there will be a difference. But if you set that at like, a high quality setting, no, there shouldn't be any difference. Yeah. And I've done lots of videos where I switch back and forth between like Rodecaster recordings, computer recordings, and you really can't tell a difference.
Well, since we're towards the top of the hour, I did want to tell you about today's sponsor.
Oh, who is today's sponsor?
Today's sponsor is Tomba.
What? Crazy. That's right. Speaking of podcasting, this sounds like we had this planned.
Tom has 2 courses about podcasting.
Not 1, not 2, but 3.
Really?
Courses.
Yeah.
2 about podcasting.
2 about Hello. Babe, we can do this. We're professionals.
Well, you might need to use Final Cut to edit your video podcast. Okay.
So if you want to know about launching your own podcast, there's a podcaster playbook. And then if you have an idea, but you want to develop it a little bit more before you think about like, are you going to commit to making this into an entire show? You've got the podcaster idea book. Tom, would you like to expound a little bit more on the differences between these two?
Sure. Playbook is production only. Idea book is concept only. So Playbook talks about how to make it, but it doesn't talk about your idea. So if you have no idea for your show, you're not going to have one after you do this. It helps you take your idea and then create the episode, how to record, set up a recording space, pick out your equipment, edit things together, get it uploaded to a podcasting hosting platform, distribute it to the world, and walks you through that process in a way that once you've done it once, now you have a workflow so you can keep doing it for future episodes. And it does focus mostly on audio. There is sort of a supplemental section on video podcasting basics, but it's definitely not a video podcasting course. It's mainly audio production. And then the idea book is basically the opposite of that. It's like, I want to make a pod, which is where I was for a long time. It's like, I want to make a podcast, but I don't know what. Yeah. And that's a problem people have. And I realized that while I was teaching for many years, that was the problem I faced a lot was, here, I'm going to assign a project. And students would be like, well, I don't know. And so helping people come up with ideas, and not just an idea, like I should do a podcast about,
it's not the ideas. There's ideas everywhere, but it's like, how do you turn this into a sustainable show?
And if you have multiple ideas, how do you figure out which one is the one to stick with now? Doesn't mean you won't ever touch the other ideas, but which is the one to start with, which is the most practical, sustainable, so you can make not just 1 or 2 episodes, but many, many episodes.
So if you want to check that out, you can go to Tom's website at HiMyNameIsTom.com. Look at that. We did our sponsorship segment.
Look at me sponsoring things.
Greg says, I watch video podcasts on my TV. Audio podcasts are kept for my car rides. They both have markets. Yep. Buck Nasty.
That's me.
In the house. Just commit. Why are you scared? You got this.
I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what we're committing to.
This is a good question.
Yeah. It must have been something we said a while ago. But check out this sweet Doc Pop right here.
Doc Pop.
If you ever made soda, you could also call it Doc Pop. Because some parts of the U.S. they call soda pop.
Oh, soda. I was like, surveys.
No, soda. You
soda.
Call it Doc Pop.
Yeah. I like that. I drink it.
I wonder if it had the same names as the colors. Green AF. Soda.
That's an energy drink. Well.
Is it time to clear the table?
My HR said, if you're not ready to commit.
What were you not committing to?
I don't know.
I remember you saying that, but I don't remember the context. Now I'm
commit.
Confused. If you're not ready to commit, do a thing.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing that I have. What's it called? This is what I have. This is freaking what I have right now, bro. Which is why I can't, it's hard for me to think. Mal de Debarquement syndrome.
You got barbecue syndrome.
Which is, I think this is what I have. And it's like, if you fly or go on a cruise and then you get off, you still feel like you're flying or you're still on the cruise ship.
You've just been woozy and dizzy for a week.
Yeah. It's still going. I'm like this. If you told me we were on a cruise ship, I would 1,000% believe you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
definitely not.
But anyway, I say that because I'm having trouble with recall.
Oh.
Trying to think of what we were talking about. You guys need sleep. This is very true. Drop the link, Doc.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully, here's a moderator. It shouldn't get blocked.
Kane, joining as it ends. We'll have to watch the replay. Today was a fun episode.
Yeah.
2 episodes ago, I brought all these games, and we never got around to it. So if we don't have a topic ever, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Just wanted to tell you.
Sure.
All right.
Well, thanks for watching. Time to clear the table. Hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your week.
Wait, we have a cure in Hawaii for that. It's called Pakalolo.
You just gotta get the Pakalolo, babe.
Pakalolo.
Yeah.
Is this just tequila? Oh.
And it's time to clear the table. Hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your week. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Ahuiho.